earlier than we have, and we get in kind of early, is our buddy Landon Aydlett over at the National Weather Service. Now, Landon, we enjoy having you on the show each and every week, and I know what probably the key skill of being a weatherman is the ability to forecast, but it's also having the ability to look back and examine historical data and everything like that. So, how much time have you spent maybe in the last couple of days looking at, last week's little tropical storm?
Yeah, I was looking at that a lot, particularly Tuesday and Wednesday, immediately following the aftermath of that situation, and going back over the calls that we made from the Weather Service about the tropical storm warning, the watches. And in hindsight, there's not really anything we would have changed. I think all the calls are made as accurately as possible with the science in mind, but then also with the social science aspect in play as well, because we have to cater to the community, also preparedness posturing, and the possibilities. And so as we were going into that first advisory from the Joint Typhoon Warning Center at 1 o'clock Monday afternoon, what we were looking at the possibilities, and any bump in that situation, there could have been a significant change in outlook and outcomes for the island. And so as we went ahead and warned on the tropical depression for the possible development to a tropical storm, that next advisory confirmed that warning that we put out, because it had bumped a little bit north of the original track, bringing those tropical storm force winds over the islands. But the next one showed that mitigated development, which was also a possibility. But on the edge of caution, we did have to go into a warning scenario for that. At one point, we were looking at warnings for possibly Rhoda as well, and then watches for the northernmost islands. But as we were getting that daytime animation from the visible satellite, we could see that center, the main center circulation was not deviating farther north, but it was starting to make that turn toward the south of Guam. And so we stayed away from putting out any watches for Tinian and Saipan, and also avoided a warning for Rhoda, but did put them in a watch just for that possibility. So that's just the situation we have to deal with in these developmental situations. When we get to the slides, I will show you that track in closer look. But for a forecasting standpoint, we like these storms to develop farther east of us, so you have a well-developed tropical system, and then you can watch it. But keep in mind, every little directional change when it's way east of us can have a profound impact, whether you're looking at a passage south of Guam or close to Guam, or near Saipan and farther to the north. And so those little changes can mean a lot of differences in a period of 24 to 36 hours. So that's one thing we always have to keep in mind. In the states where you have a landfalling hurricane hitting the Atlantic seaboard, you can put a large area of population and coastline under a warning, whereas we have small islands. So we have to put the whole island into a watch or warning for that reason. So it's very tricky. It's a lot of thought and discussion going on in our operations area down the hallway, where we have to consider these calls and work with our government partners, Guam Homeland Security, Saipan Homeland Security, and other agencies to make sure it's coordinated, it's well understood, the reasoning, and what the expectations are for possibilities for weather across the island. So it's a lot of thought. I blew through my data on my phone in one day. So I'm still recovering from that. But yeah, that's what we're here for. It's a lot of time and energy putting into analyzing all the available data, the possibilities, and putting out the best call for these situations. So when I get to the slide and to the slideshow, it shows where this thing first developed into a tropical depression. It was just on our doorstep, and that's where we had to be most concerned, because is it going to take its time to develop, or is it going to develop quickly and become something more formidable as it passes close to us or over us? So that's always a possibility. So let me switch my camera around. I'll show you what we're looking at for this week. And I have a little error message. There we go. Clear that out. Not much out there this morning. We had some morning showers pass over the island, but otherwise we're clearing up nicely for the day. It's already hot and humid out there. Not too much near Rhoda, not too much near Tinian Saipan, but if you go farther east of us, you see all this glitter. Those are lightning strikes. We're under the influence of a upper level trough just to our east, with a little bit of a surface feature pushing in along 150 east longitude. That's generating scattered showers and thunderstorms with an upper level low that's situated to our northeast. When we have these upper level features, that brings that instability in the upper atmosphere, and that can help generate the heavier showers, isolated thunderstorms, and can bring some locally heavy rainfall in a short period of time. This is kind of that transitional weather pattern that we see. It can start as early as May and go through August and September. These TUT cells, tropical upper tropospheric troughs. And so you have these little circulations, and again, these circulations in the upper atmosphere. So it's not like a tropical cyclone. It's in the upper level, it's the upper level disturbance. And what they do is they bring disturbed weather, showers and thunderstorms across the air. So if they can park over us and be simultaneous with a surface feature or a surface trough, you can get some significant rainfall amounts across the island. We've had that in years past. And I'm going to bring up those lines. Okay, let me see if I can find it. There we go. So if that shows up well, we can see that TUT cell, so to speak, right here. And we have that upper trough extending eastward near Wake Island. And so that gives us a little bit of energy to generate those showers and thunderstorms. Elsewhere, not too bad. We do have a broad area of weather that's been generating showers and thunderstorms across eastern Micronesia. We don't see anything suspect for this as far as tropical development. So there have been rumors, especially since Champi last week, of another system coming through. That is not the case, but we are watching for any kind of threats of development. Right now, we don't see much for organized development, so that's good. So if you want to go ahead and cue up the slides, and we'll get right into the slideshow, and I'll talk more about Champi shortly. So really a beautiful day, unlike a week ago. And last Monday, that was my 11-year anniversary of walking into the National Weather Service on my first day on the job. So yeah, I celebrated the 11th year with the tropical storm warning. So
which for you is probably very poetic justice, right?
You know, I thought there's a lot of irony to that, but you know, I wouldn't have had it any other way. So yeah, it was a great day, and I'm glad that we came out of it okay. And you know, we're just at the beginning of the peak period of the year. So yeah, hold on to your seats, folks. Risk of rip currents, moderate bonfire danger. That took a tumble last week. We had a record rainfall for the day. I think that was Monday as that system was passing. Actually, it was Tuesday as that system was passing. But we had the heavy rain band over Guam Tuesday morning. We had 2.83 inches of rainfall that day. Next slide. And that shows that information. So yeah, we had 2.83 inches of rain for the day on last Tuesday, which brings us a little bit higher for the month, but we're still below average for the month and also for the year, but we're creeping into better conditions. In the next slide, this is the track of Champi. So it did become a typhoon briefly, but it was a very minimal typhoon, just west of Iwo Jima or Iwo To Island, well northwest of us. So it developed just southeast of Guam, and that's where we get in that gray area when it comes to the warning and the conditions of readiness. This is one of those tough calls. It's which way do you go that you're not over prepared, but also not under prepared. And so this is one of the trickiest situations you can be in. And from a forecasting standpoint, it's one that I've never wanted to be in. And so far, every storm I've worked has been this type scenario. October 30th last year, tropical depression at Sani was exactly like this. But that's the track of it. And for the people watching, if you can type into the comments, what country does the name Champi originate from? What does Champi mean? And what is the name of the next Western Pacific tropical cyclone? And I'll have the answers at the end of this broadcast.
Okay, I want to add my little conjecture, because I believe also Champi could be a nickname for Felix in this part of the world. I know 2 people named Felix, and their nicknames are Champi.
Maybe they're just good at what they're doing. They were like champion.
There you go. And it by the way, Champi is not that thing you make with shrimp. That's scampi.
I could go for some scampi right now.
Oh yeah.
Now the next slide.
With barbecue sauce.
And we'll have the answers shortly. Yes. So the next slide, that's a review. This is just a climate pattern where we see the typical tropical cyclone development of the La Nina, which is across western central Micronesia, and then the El Nino, the tropical cyclones, develop farther to the east and put us more under the gun of action. We are in an INSO neutral, which is why we're looking at kind of a average outlook for this year. The next slide, this shows our tropical cyclones for 2020. And take a really good close look at this yellow box. That's the WFO Guam area responsibility encompassing Palau, Micronesia, and the Marshall Islands. This is our season from last year, and you can see at Sani just past just south of Guam, that was the only threat that any island in our air responsibility had last year. We were in a strong La Nina, which generated all that development to be primarily west and north of us. The next slide that shows 2015, that was a strong El Nino. Look at that difference there. We had all kinds of development across the region, especially in the Marshall Islands, Eastern Micronesia. We had a couple of crossovers from the Central Pacific. They crossed over the dateline. But if you look real close to Guam, as much activity we had, we did not take a direct hit over the islands. We had a lot of scrapes, Tropical Storm Bobby, Chanhome, Typhoon Dolphin. We had a lot of storms come very close to Guam, but no direct hits. Not so lucky for Rota, Tinian, and Saipan. But this is why I always say is even if we expect a lesser activity across the region, it only takes one storm, whereas 2015, we expected a lot of activity across the region. We didn't get a single direct hit to Guam, though we did have some damage from some of our passing systems. So keep that in mind as you plan for the year ahead.
And Landon, I think it was
months.
I think it was a Typhoon Dolphin that, like you said, it affected the CNMI way worse than us, but I believe it actually took out some of their weather tracking gear up there in Saipan, right?
Yeah, I need to go back and look at that. I know they've had some significant hit. They had Super Typhoon, or actually, Typhoon Pseudolore. That one hit them, I think it was in September of that year. And so that was a very small midget typhoon, as we call it, a very small, compact typhoon. And that went right over central Saipan and caused a lot of damage up there. That was rated as, I think, a low-end Category 4 typhoon. So this next slide that you're on, that's our climatology for Guam. These are the tropical cyclones within 60, 120, 180 miles. That's 1, 2, and 3 degrees away from the island of Guam since 1945. And so these are tropical depressions, tropical storms, and typhoons. And if you notice, June is our slow month. So we have a small peak in April and May climate-wise based off of storms in the past, and then June bottoms off again. But the climb is going to begin in July and continue through August and September, and our peak September, October. So we have a lot of year left ahead of us. So make sure you're prepared. Don't rush completion. Don't rush your plans to completion in the 24 hours before a storm is expected to hit. Do your your thought process, your planning now while there is no threat. The next slide, that just shows our polar orbiting winds. Again, not much out across the region. We do have a trade wind surge to our east near Wake Island. That'll eventually push closer to our area by the end of the week. And the next slide, that shows our peak in the seas and surf early last week. That was with our tropical depression. Since then, we flatlined, and we're going to be doing a steady climb, but not too much. Combined seas of 2 to 4 feet the next several days, building to around 4 to 5 feet by the end of the week as the winds gradually increase with this trade wind disturbance. So the next slide, Champi. This name originates from Lao, and it means red jasmine flower. And so the next tropical cyclone, that will be named Infa, and we'll have more about that name the next cyclone we get. So Champi was our 6th tropical cyclone for the western North Pacific of the year. Typhoon Dolphin back in May of 2015, that was the 7th tropical cyclone. So 6 by the end of June. We're not doing too bad, but we're holding steady as we go into the later parts of the year.
Yeah, Landon, I got a couple guesses from our friends in comments. Maggie Monroe Anderson, when you asked the question, where's the place of origin from Champi, she said she thought it might be from Hong Kong.
Okay.
Close.
Yeah, our last one, I think Kogumi was from Hong Kong. Actually, I might have been getting the last one wrong, but yeah, Hong Kong is definitely one of the member countries of the WMO's Typhoon Committee, and they also submit names. And so we do a lot of good work in collaboration with the Hong Kong Observatory. But Hong Kong is definitely a great guess. So the week ahead, not that bad, just isolated showers and thunderstorms the next several days. As long as this upper level trough keeps in our neighborhood, that's going to keep those thunderstorm chances a possibility the next several days. Toward the weekend, we could see a trade wind disturbance come up and give us more showers, and that's not good for us because the Weather Service is planning an outdoor barbecue at our facility on Friday. And if anything is certain, it's certain that it's going to be a rainy day on Friday, because the last time we had a cookout outside, it was the rainiest day of the month, and I think that was back in February. So, that's just the luck that we have in the weather service. But otherwise, Sunday, July 4th looks a little bit drier. But yeah, it's going to be a great week ahead.
And no Monday off because of the 4th of July holiday for you guys over there, right?
Yeah. I haven't got that far yet. I think we might have a federal holiday. It might be on Monday the 5th, hopefully. So we'll see.
Yeah, is that how it usually goes?
Yeah, sometimes if it's like a weekend holiday, they'll put the holiday on the closest weekday, either prior or immediately following.
Right
I know
on.
Juneteenth was considered a federal holiday, and so we had that holiday set on Friday instead of the actual Saturday.
Cool. All right, so we'll make arrangements if you're off on Monday. I wouldn't mind being off on Monday.
Yeah. Hey, let us know if you guys do wind up having that barbecue and everything like that. We'll cover it. Air quotes. We'll cover it for you.
Yeah. I'll have my microphone for you too. So.
Oh, there it is. The Bob Barker mic.
Jason loves your microphone. I'll tell you that much.
It's a long story behind that one. I'll tell it to you next week.
Okay.
Right on, Landon.
Hey, real quick, Landon. Of course, we are in the summer months and everything like that. And you always try and talk about career opportunities, learning opportunities, and that's part of your job. Heading into the fall for kids who are going to, college, they might be, approaching upperclassmen status and everything like that. I only bring this up because Gov Guam has a really, really wonderful internship program that they got going on right now, where kids were like dispatched throughout the government. What opportunities do you guys have maybe coming up, either in the summer or the fall that applicants can look forward to?
Well, definitely, it's too late for this year, but check us out around January, February next year. We have summer interns through the usajobs.com. And so this is what's called the Weather Service Pathways Interns Program. We typically have one internship every summer for a 2-month period. This year we have 2 spots open. One's for meteorology and one's for IT. So we have a guy from University of Oklahoma. He's here for the summer on the meteorology side. And we also have another intern, and she's actually local to Guam. And so we really want to cater to people locally if they have interest in fields in the weather service. And that's not just meteorology, but also electronics and IT. So we do have those opportunities from time to time. Check out USA Jobs and also send us a message on our Facebook page or email you all at KUAM or my email. And I don't think I have it on the bottom bar, but email KUAM. They have my contact if you're interested in a summer position, and we'll talk. But otherwise, in lieu of an internship or something more formal like that, come visit our office. Once we are allowed to have non-mission essential guests in our building because of COVID, once we can have guests back, we hope to have people in our office for visits and tours and just to meet and greet people in the community.
Yep. If for no other reason, people watching this right now, the fact that you can actually, 1, hang out with Landon, because that's a treat in and of itself, and then 2, you can actually get to put those weather tracking balloons into the sky, which is an experience everybody has to try at least once. We got to do a link on location just for that.
Those up every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. When like I said, when we have you over in the office again, we'll definitely have you for a balloon launch. We talk all about that.
Dude, I can't wait for that, man. All right. Have a good day, man.
Thank you.
All right.
Always good stuff. Right on. Yep. We're taking a quick break. It's 8:49 right here on the Link Monday, June 28th. Good morning.